Hello everybody, welcome to my 100% walkthrough of Elden Ring by Level Up Pub Gaming. So this episode's going to be kind of like that other one, where I'm not going to progress through the story. I'm just going to read item descriptions that we haven't read yet, and I'm going to go over the Ashes of Wars that I have not showcased yet. So I wanted to do this as we went along in the series, but as you could tell from the first few episodes, I kind of stopped because I didn't realize how much material I'd be picking up just through one episode, and trying to get all of the areas and caves and bosses covered in under 2 hours, plus reading the materials, was just not feasible. So I decided to just make these little short episodes. I'm going to do one after we defeat each shard bearer. So every time we take down a shard bearer, the next episode I'll sit down and read over any new items and go over any new Ashes of Wars that we picked up. Okie dokie, so I'm going to go into my chest, and we've pretty much read through all of this stuff. I think Margit Shackle, yeah, we already read through that. Let's go ahead and read this. Remembrance of Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, hewn into the Erd Tree. The power of its namesakes can be unlocked by the finger reader. Alternatively, it can be used to gain a great bounty of runes. In her youth, Renala was a prominent champion who charmed the Academy with her lunar magic. Becoming its master. She also led the Glintstone Knights and established the House of Caria as royalty. And so everything else is pretty much the same. We've read through all that stuff. So we got a lot of Ashes of Wars to read through. We've read through these ones already. Actually, did I do the thing? Let me look at my notes real quick. No, we did not do these ones. So these spirits are well suited to causing a disturbance. Moving nimbly like pests and hurling magic pots, the two imps seem fond of each other's company. It's kind of cute. Alright, spirits of nobles who, after death, now wander the lands between. Surely they were in search of something, but whatever it is has long been forgotten. Spirit of a nobleman who once asked to be given a place at Raya Lucaria to learn glintstone sorceries. His talents were insufficient to be worthy of donning the stone crown. However, he is only capable of using most rudimentary sorceries. These are the spirits of militiamen who live in death and will continue to rise again until properly finished off. This is the grotesque fate of those who come into contact with Deathroot. This is the spirit of a bandit who lives in death and will continue to rise again until properly finished off. After the night of the plot, Deathroot appeared in the lands between, and those who live in death soon followed. We already read these ones. Spirit of a page who traveled at the side of the noble he served, uses a piercing sword and crossbow to defend his master. One becomes a page merely by accident, of being born into obscurity. Nothing is asked of ability, talent, or volition. Spirit of marionette soldiers created to serve a sorcerer. These marionettes are archers, each equipped with a pair of bows, on the verge of falling apart. They're ill-disciplined and attack without warning. Spirit of a mercenary belonging to a horse-riding folk. Skillfully uses a massive blade made for dismounting other riders and enhances his already considerable strength with war cries. The cell swords of Caden made their powers known on countless battlefields. Spirit of Raya Lucaria sorcerer, wearing a stone crown, a scholar of the Ulvinus Conceptus, who has mastered the use of glintstone star sorcery. Spirit of Raya Lucaria sorcerer, wearing a stone crown, those who study the Twinsage Conceptus are the Academy's elite, capable of mastering the glintstone comet shard and crystal burst sorceries. A duo of spirits consisting of a wielder of devastating charged hammer attacks in the vanguard and a crossbowman bringing up the rear. The soldiers who serve Godric the Grafted are what remains of the army that fled the royal capital of the Erd Tree. A trio of spirits consisting of two disposable foot soldiers and their superior. The soldiers of Raya Lucaria were also known as the Cuckoos. They were given free rein by the Academy to wage war as they pleased, and they were infamous for their rapacious ways. We've already read these two. So now let's move on to... I don't believe we have any other foliage to read through. I think we got everything. Yes, okay. So we read through all the foliage. Okay, so these ones don't seem to have any lore around them. These are just the tiers that we picked up, and they just increase the whatever it says, lightning, and then magic, and then holy, and then we're going to get a fire and a... I think we just get a fire one. I don't think there's anything else. So none of these have any lore in it. Rusty key, you got that. So this might have some. Key to the seals binding both gates to the Academy Ray Lucaria. Activates warp magic bound within the seals. A glintstone key will remember its user, meaning once used, it can never be passed on to another. The Academy does not welcome the indolent. It's kind of interesting. Let's see, yeah, we already got that one. Ooh, this is the next one. On the night of the Black Knives, someone stole a fragment of death from Malekith, the Black Blade, and imbued its power into the assassin's dagger. This mark is evidence of the ritual, and hides the truth of the conspiracy. And so, as we learned from Roger, that was Ronnie. Empty ashes of war, devoid of any memories of battle, unable to apply any kind of affinity in their current state, but can be used by smithing Master Hugh of the Round Table Hold to recreate other ashes. Thus, does the copy pass into becoming the genuine article. So this is how you make copies of Ashes of War that you like. I think we already read that. I don't think we read this yet. A hidden tier found in the Eternal City, also known as a night tier, allows one to carry out an absolution at the Church of Vows, reversing all antagonizations. Once upon a time, the stars of the night sky guided fate, and this is a recollection of those times. Pretty cool. Okay. One of the tools brought by Radagan when he entered into marriage with Rennala, Queen of the Full Moon, and joined the Carrion line. We're going to give that to Bach a little bit later. Oh, we got to give this to the Turtle Pope. But we got some sorceries to read through. So, Comet. One of the glintstone sorceries of Academy of Ray Lucaria. Fires a great magical comet. The greatest of the Carolus Conceptus sorceries that only a few sorcerers have ever mastered. You already read Crystal Burst. Lobs an explosive magic projectile that files in an arc. Drawn from the Conceptus of Haima, the adjudicator of the Academy. This sorcery employs might as a means to quell conflict. Drawn from the scholarly Conceptus of Haima, the adjudicator of the Academy, the sorcery employs same thing. Stone Digger sorcery used by glintstone miners of the Crystal Tunnel. At the Academy, use of this sorcery was a stigma that marked out failed scholars. Once the sigil would be cast from the highest belfry of the Academy, covering the entire institution's grounds. This spell allows such vivid experience of spellcasting success, it turns many a fledgling into a true sorcerer in a flash of a newfound understanding. So this is the one where you open this up, cast it, and then that vigil that's under you, as long as you're inside of that, it increases your magic damage by quite a bit. Future generations will learn. They will know the foolishness of sneering sorcerers who ridiculed this theory, little realizing that it was in fact a discovery worthy of a new Conceptus of the Academy. Used by the enchanted troll knights, they were the comrades of young Rennala, bound by oath. Said to have been taught by the Crystallians to mark the swearing of the old Concord. This is an awesome one. We're going to get an advanced version of it later, too. Sorcery used by Royal Knight Loretta. Creates a magic great bow and fires a great arrow. Charging enhances potency. Hold to keep the great arrow knocked. It is said that the bow was Loretta's favored weapon. This sorcery forms a counterpart to Carrion Greatsword. Highly lethal when used against single foes riding alone. Already read that. The Crystallians are The Crystallians are inorganic beings, yet they live. They cleave close to the ideals of the primeval current, and as such, they are revered guests of the sorcerers. And the sorcery is used by high-ranking adepts among the Crystallians. Some also call this sorcery the Crystal Sun. That's cool. Already read Rocksling. Gravitational techniques studied by the young Radon. His master was an alabaster lord with skin of stone. An aberrant sorcery discovered by exiled criminals. Theirs are the sorceries most reviled by the Academy. Wounds the caster with thorns of sin, creating a spiral of blood thorns. The sorcery can be cast repeatedly up to 3 times. The guilty, their eyes gouged by thorns, lived in eternal darkness. There, they discovered the blood star. That's cool. Sorcery of the servants of death. Summon vengeful spirits to chase down foes. Once thought lost, the ancient death hex was rediscovered by the necromancer Garrus. They are cinders of the ancient death hex, raked from the fires of ghost flame by death birds. Brutal. Okay, now incantations. We got quite a few to read through. Just want to take a look at the ones we've already read. Alrighty. So Two Fingers has high hopes for the Tarnished that even if they should be wounded, even should they fall, they will continue to fight for their duty. And same thing for the other heal, and same thing for all of these. Hark, Tarnished, if you truly walk in faith, you must be prepared to reject all else. Incantations of the Two Finger servants who once used the assassins of the Round Table, served as the assassins of the Round Table hold. The assassins were themselves once tarnished who strayed from guidance, and they pursued their duty in the darkness that is without grace. The assassins were charged with eliminating Tarnished who had strayed from guidance. Blessing once fell like tears from the Erd Tree, and this incantation is but a lingering remnant of their power. So I'm obviously skipping just like the parts where it tells you what the spell does, in the top part where it describes it. You can read that, yourself. Just look down, see Blessing Boon. You know which one I'm reading. I'm just trying to do this as quickly as possible. But I do want to do this because I want to cover this game in 100% as much as I can. And I also want to do this just in case there's anybody that, 1, is not playing the game and would like to know this stuff. And 2, just in case they aren't getting the stuff that I'm getting, because some of these weapons and stuff, they're rare drops. So I just want to go over as much information as possible so that, I can say that we went over it and I'm not leaving anything behind or leaving anything out. So this one grants caster and nearby allies gradually restoring HP. So it's like the Bestial Vitality, only it recovers your HP a little bit quicker than Bestial Vitality. But this also, if anybody's standing around you, including your summons, they'll take this as well, so you can apply it to your allies. And see, we already did the tail. This is a manifestation of the Erd Tree's primal vital energies, an aspect of the primordial crucible where all life was once blended together. And so it's pretty much the same description as that one. Let's see. Okay. One of the incantations of the Golden Order fundamentalists, used by hunters of those who live in death, creates an image of order dealing holy damage to nearby foes. This incantation is especially damaging to those who live in death. Any fell by this incantation cannot be revived. The role of the hunters is to stamp out defiled reason. All for the perfection of the Golden Order. And then this says the same thing, only it tells you what it does. One of the incantations of the capital's ancient dragon cult. Long ago, Godwyn the Golden defeated the ancient dragon Fortisax and befriended his fallen foe, an event that gave rise to the ancient dragon cult in the capital. Let's be honest, who among us wouldn't want to befriend a dragon? I know I would. Ancestors of modern dragons, the ancient dragons had scales of gravel stone and wielded lightning as their weapon. It is said that they once attacked Lendel, the royal capital. Long ago, Godwyn the Golden defeated... Oh, it's the same thing. Long ago, yeah, same thing. Alright, incantation originating from a sinister prophecy. The Flame of Ruin is anathema to to the Ur tree, but prophets sometimes glimpse it within the faith all the same. Sadly, when this occurs, their sole reward is banishment. It's the same thing. Alright, the legendary incantation is one of several that draws directly from the power of the fire giants. Arcahunthli, the chief guardian of the flame, had kept his incantation a well-kept secret until it was stolen by Aiden. The fell god still lurks within the fire giants. This incantation leaves the caster with subtle burns, a reminder that they must fear the flame. Black flame is weighty. After dealing damage, it continues to sap foes' HP for a very short time. Black flame incantation of the Godskin Apostles. That's the same thing. I've already read this. Having gained intelligence, the beasts must have felt how their wildness slipped away as civilization took hold. I've already read these. Incantation originating from the maddening three fingers. Causes the yellow flame of frenzy to burst from the caster's eyes. Charging increases the range of the burst. The flame of frenzy deals damage and causes buildup of madness. This incantation also causes buildup of madness in the caster and is only effective against Tarnished. So it deals fire damage and pretty good physical damage to any other enemies, but if they are Tarnished, so NPCs that invade us, then we can use it against them and they will actually suffer from madness and take extra damage. In times past, every single person who attempted to control the flame of frenzy succumbed to madness after a desperate internal struggle. This incantation is testament to a meager victory. It is said that the sickness of the flame of frenzy began with Shabriri, the most reviled man in all history. So release a maddening shriek that causes madness buildup in foes nearby. This incantation also causes buildup in the caster and enemies more likely to target them. It's kind of interesting. Alright, so Ashes of War, like I said, most of these don't have any lore in them. Some do, just off chance by their descriptions of what they're talking about in it. But aside from that, there's no, storyline information in there, but we do have some weapons to read through, so... A razor-thin, piercing blade of ice, forged by Iji, the Carrion Royal Blacksmith. Piercing sword of the Cleanrot Knights who fought alongside Melania, Blade of Mikola, mainly used as a backup weapon in combination with a long-handled armament. So these are kind of weird. I'll talk about these in another episode, but these actually pair with the spear, I believe, that you get from the Cleanrot Knights. So that's kind of interesting. War Scythe of the Cleanrot Knights who fought alongside Melania, Blade of Mikola. This was the weapon of commanders in Melania's army, and the half-halo blade deals holy damage. This is such an awesome weapon. This weapon is made of extremely thin, flexible blades of metal, is wielded like a whip by knight folk warriors. Though in essence, a whip is with a cutting edge, it can also be used as a spear to pierce foes. That's kind of interesting. A leather whip, not originally used for combat, but as an instrument of pain. Though its supple attacks cannot be thwarted by parrying or even guarding, it is incapable of dealing critical hits. Wow. So if you guard or try and parry somebody with a whip, it won't work. So you can do that. You can use these whips against any enemies that are really good at parrying. So it's kind of interesting to... A jet black glaive with a blade as weighty as a bludgeon. Weapon of the Knights Cavalry who ride funeral steeds. This glaive excels at weighty slash attacks that crash into foes, making it a powerful weapon even on horseback. So in my other playthrough, I'm using this with Sword Dance on it instead of this, and it's doing some awesome damage. War spears singed and blistered by fingers used by Vike, Knight of the Round Table Hold. Like Vike himself, it has been tormented by the yellow flames of frenzy from within. Golden spear with tree-like designs wielded by knights employed as palace guards in the royal capital of Lindell. Deals holy damage. Requiring superior dexterity to wield, the great spear can perform consecutive thrust attacks despite its large size. So we're going to be playing around with these a little bit later. Large stone staff embedded with glintstone, wielded by Erdtree burial watchdogs who protect catacombs. The watchdogs, battered and broken over their lengthy tenure, rule the catacombs and are even said to command the imps. That's interesting. I've already read through this. I'm sure if we read this. Katana, forged of glintstone, masterpiece of a Celian swordsmith. Light enwreathes the blade when sheathed, explaining its Moonveil moniker. So yeah, this is what we're going to be using in the second half of the game, along with the Uchi Katana. Very, very awesome sword. Let's go ahead and head on over to the chest. I already read through this. A knife made by sharpening hard crystal, signature weapon of glintstone miners. Used as a tool to extract glintstone from broken rock, and as such, a faint magic enwreathes the blade. That's pretty cool. This dagger rips flesh as it enters, inflicting blood loss with sickening efficiency. A proud testament to the success of its vicious design, this weapon is perpetually coated in blood. Jagged dagger with a distinctive curved blade, used by the noble servants of the Lord of Blood. Storied sword and treasure of Carrion Manor, one of the legendary armaments. Astrologers who preceded the sorcerers established themselves in mountaintops that nearly touched the sky and considered the fire giants their neighbors. That's pretty cool. Straight sword embedded with the blue glintstone, weapons of knights sworn to Carrion royalty. These knights' swords could serve as a catalyst, letting them wield sorcerers' battle skills. Despite numbering fewer than 20, this power made them a match for even the champions of gold in battle. Great sword embedded with the blue glintstone, weapon of trolls in service of the royal family of Caria. Called into service when the queen invoked an oath they swore. The trolls are treated as true knights of Caria and fight arm in arm with their human comrades. I like that. The storied sword of Castle Morn, a revenger's weapon. It is burdened with oceans of anger and regret, one of the legendary armaments. The lone surviving champion with a country now vanished was so determined to continue fighting that he claimed the swords of an entire clan of warriors. Pretty brutal. High dexterity is required to wield this blade to its full potential, but mastery is a sight to behold, characterized by a flowing style which excels in successive attacks. And we've read through pretty much everything else in here. A fairly large iron cleaver, commonly used by the maltreated misbegotten. Steeped in resentment, the weapons are swung wildly and relentlessly, often after rushing up to foes. Usher of Death, Rosas, who shows the path to the catacombs throughout the lands between, is depicted on this ritual axe. Well, that's interesting. So apparently the little guy that walks us to the catacombs that we find everywhere, his name is Rosas. I did not know that. The dead easily lose their way and have always been in more need of a guiding hand. Well, that is interesting. See, learn new things about this game every day. Hatchet used in ancient sacrificial rite, a deathbird is depicted as a malevolent deity. The power of the rite yet lingers. A small amount of FP is restored upon slaying a foe. That's interesting. Did not know that happened. Rusty anchor wielded as a weapon. Each of its 4 flukes is thick and sharp, enabling piercing attacks. When the Tarnished left the lands between with their lord, one boat alone was said to have been left behind. Interesting. Flail with 2 additional black bludgeoning heads, a weapon of the Knights Cavalry who ride funeral steeds. The large spikes make it highly effective at inducing blood loss, but also demand higher dexterity to wield. Weapon made from an ordinary stone brick, wielded by a laborer who led a rebellion and later became a champion himself. Even among other bludgeons of its size, the weapon is especially weighty. The strength of a giant is required to wield it. Huge bludgeon with sharp protrusions and a large version of its smaller cousin. Maintains all the advantages of the smaller bludgeons, boasting few deficiencies while being very capable of breaking enemy guards and stances. A shrewd choice for simple slugging matches. Long spear featuring especially lengthy handle. That is a really long spear. Wow. Specialized for use from long distances, it boasts the longest reach of any melee weapon. Wow, did not know this. Incredibly useful even against foes on horseback, but hard to wield in cramped spaces. Wow, I might want to play around with that. I did not know that was the longest spear in the game. But this has to be the longest great spear. Considered a type of great spear, this weapon has no blade, but instead features a long, conical body design to pierce. Though heavy and hard to wield, this weapon displays its worth in horseback combat when mounted or even on foot. Finely crafted halberd intricately engraved with an ancient motif, given to the knights who, whether by misfortune or misdeed, were forced to abandon their homes. Most of these knights were sent to the fringes, where they were forced to start anew with only despair for company. The polearm features a hard, sharpened beak-like spike attached to its head, designed to pierce armor. Though designed mainly as a thrusting weapon, its long handle can be utilized to get around an enemy's guard with a sideward sweeping attack. And horrific weapon made of a hardened skeletal arm, wielded by Insha of the royal remains. Fitted by placing one's hands into the fist grip until they dig in. O clinging creature, a knight relinquishes not the hand. A king relinquishes not the hand. Alright, Peta. Once the weapon originated from the two fingers, a formless sequence of ciphers comprise its blade, and as such, no shield can repel it, deals holy damage. The furtive inscription appears to hang in the air, the language of light spoken by the two fingers. Okay, I've got some stuff to read. I'm going to go ahead and skip over the crossbows, except for this one. One-of-a-kind enchanted crossbow of exquisitely detailed craftsmanship, made to celebrate the matrimonial union and reconciliation between the House of the Erdtree and the Full Moon, Lindell and Rhea Lucaria. The two rings dance when reloading the weapon, revealing true worth when used with holy infused bolts. Wow, I did not know that. I'm going to have to check that out. Holy infused bolts. The two rings dance when reloading the weapon, reveals true worth when used with holy infused bolts. That's interesting. I'm going to see what that's all about, and I'll let you guys know. But I'm going to go ahead and skip the rest of these, and I'm just going to go over the important staffs, the ones that we haven't read yet. Staff of the Academy, Rhea Lucaria, embedded with the turquoise glintstone. Only recognized sorcerers permitted with wield this staff. Staff of the Sorcerer Miner, who extracts glintstone from crystal tunnels. The staff is a tool used to mine, and the ferrule is also embedded with a glintstone. I already read that. Staff of the Primeval Glintstone Sorcerer, Azur. Only those who have glimpsed what lies beyond the wisdom of stone may wield it. Reduces all casting time of sorceries, but consumes additional FP. Staff embedded with the blue glintstone. One of the two types of carrion staff. Gifted to enchanted knights, it enhances glintblade sorceries. Staff fashioned from pure crystal, a deed impossible for a human, enhances crystalline sorceries. The crystalline faint cogitation is known as the wisdom of stone. This staff can only be wielded by those of intellect high enough to grasp such wisdom. And sacred seal of the Godskin apostles, inlaid with obsidian, said to represent the manipulation of black flame. This catalyst enhances Godslayer incantations. And over here, great bow featuring the Erdtree styling. In times of old, when faith and battle went in hand, this weapon was created in tandem with the golden great arrow. Scales all arrow damage with faith, revealing its true worth when used with holy infused arrows. Great bow of black stone, crafted by a civilization now gone to ruin. Weapon of the guardian golem. Extremely heavy, this great bow requires enormous strength to just draw, suggesting it was not designed for human use. We already read this one. Formless Drakeblood seal with the Dragon Communion crest enhances Dragon Communion incantations. The sacrificial devouring of the heart gives power. Indeed, Dragon Communion is too primal in nature for the term incantation to be appropriate. This scales incantations with one's arcane attribute. So next, I'm also going to go over and skip most of the shields. You guys can read that stuff if you want to, but just to save time, I'm going to go ahead and skip all of the armaments and things like that. We're just going to go straight to the talismans and read talismans that we haven't gone over yet. Talisman depicting a drop of the Erd Tree's sap, a blessed boon. Gradually restores HP. It was once thought that the blessed sap of the Erd Tree would drip from its boughs forever, but that age of plenty swiftly came to a close, and with time, the Erd Tree became more an object of faith. A primordial life energy resides inside. The Erd Tree was once perfect and eternal, and thus it was believed that Erd Tree seeds could not exist. I've already read through these. Talisman depicting a special blessing of the Erd Tree. It is said that when the age of the Erd Tree began, such blessings were personally bestowed upon the recipients by Queen Marika herself. And this we've already read through. Got 2 fingers heirloom. Talisman engraved with the legend of the 2 fingers. Fingers cannot speak, yet these were eloquent. Persistently did they wiggle, spelling out mysteries in the air. Thus did we gain the words of our faith. And these all say the same thing. Said to be a budding horn, the ancestors' followers believe that the horns of a long-lived beast continued to bud like antlers over and over again until the beast one day becomes an ancestral spirit. Yeah, it's the same thing. It is said that this pustule came from the visage of the Prince of Death, who used to be called Godwyn. As first dead of the demigods, it is said that he's buried deep under the capital at the Erd Tree's roots. It is said that a blind swordsman was the originator of this technique, the art of following one's opponent to strike as to leave them vulnerable to a well-timed reply. The twin blade technique is a tradition of the confessors who closely guarded the secret of how they preserve the momentum of their attacks. Thus is the final strike of their onslaught all the more deadly. Yeah, we read through this. Spears are standard weapons for soldiers in the lands between. They made it possible to respond to a ferocious foe with an equally ferocious attack. The assassin of Ravenmount are killers by trade. They assail their victims while dressed as birds of prey. I believe I've already read this. Legendary talisman depicting the Elden Lord Radagon. Shortens the casting time of sorceries and incantations. As the husband of Renala of Caria, the red-haired Radagon studied sorcery, and as the husband of Queen Marika, he studied incantations. Thus did the hero aspire to be complete. Talisman depicting a school of graven mages, the nightmare of the academy. So that is those big balls that we've been fighting in the rises and stuff like that. The primeval current, it just says raises potency of sorceries. The primeval current is a forbidden tradition of glintstone sorcery. To those who cleave to its teachings, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into the seeds of stars is but another path of scientific inquiry. Pretty brutal. An honor said to have once been awarded to Carian knights who served as direct retainers to the kingdom's princesses. Now there is only one princess, Rani, daughter of Renala. Already read that. Talisman carried by the assassins who strike unseen, patterned in a scorpion fleshly shed of its exoskeleton, its claws seizing a heart with a blessed glow. Raises holy attack. Talisman fashioned from a bony knot that embodies the aspects of various creatures, said to have grown on the human body long ago. Reduces the damage impact of headshots taken. A vestige of the crucible of primordial life, born partially of devolution. It was considered a signifier of the divine in ancient times, but it is now increasingly disdained as an impurity as civilization has advanced. And these ones say pretty much the same thing. Already read this one. No, we haven't read this one. The heart sings when one draws close to death, and a glorious end awaits to those who cling so tenaciously to life. We already read through that one. Did that one. No, they say the same thing. Talisman depicting a raised prosthetic blade, an honor bestowed upon the knights who fought alongside Melania, Melania the Severed. Wow, never heard her called Melania the Severed before. The wings symbolize Melania and her undefeated prowess. Though she never knew relief from the accursed rot she was born into, her blade was forever beautiful and relentless. Disturbing likeness of a man whose eyes have been gouged out. The corners of his mouth are upturned in an almost flirtatious manner. It is said that the man named Shabriri had his eyes gouged out as punishment for the crime of slander, and with time, the blight of the flame of frenzy came to dwell in the empty sockets. Talisman fashioned from a dried twig, so slender that it might snap at the lightest touch, prevents rune loss upon death, but will be lost itself in exchange, believed to be a twig pruned from the Erd tree long, long ago. Alright, you guys, so that's all we got to read for now. I don't think we got any other special notes. Where'd that go? Yeah, nope. Don't got any other notes. Got a couple of paintings that we're going to go. Actually, I think I know where this one is. I know where that one is, too. That one's in Caelid. But I'll get those in the next episode. So now what we got to do is just show you guys some cool Ashes of War. So first up, we got Glintstone Pebble on this knife. So first it shoots out a pebble, and then if you follow up with the strong attack, strong attack does that. Pretty awesome Ash of War. Alright, next we got Carrion Greatsword. Let's go up and give this guy a whack with it. So it's a two-part Ash of War. Oop. And then, sorry, if you hold it, you can charge it up and make it go even stronger, like that. So pretty cool. It's a spinning weapon. Alright, let me show you guys the golden tampering. This is from the swords with the, what's it called? Grafted Scion gave us in the beginning. So cover it in holy damage, and then this guy's not. Rude. Alright, so that's golden tampering, puts holy damage on your sword. So let's see what this one is. Stormblade. Go ahead and shoot out a couple of Stormblades at this guy. So that's a pretty cool projectile. It takes a second to peel off, but you can just repeatedly keep doing it. So, pretty cool Ash of War. Let's see what's next. Beast Roar. So pretty much the same thing as the one I just showed you, but instead of using your sword to shoot out the attack, it's just a roar. And then of course if you put on that medallion that enhances roar attacks, it'll make it do more damage. So pretty cool. Alright, so Glintstone Pebble, Carrying Greatsword, Spinning Weapon. So that's it. Yeah, so Spinning Weapon's a little hard to get off, but once you do, it's pretty cool. Builds up status effects and goes really well with that insignia talisman that increases damage with each consecutive attack. Yeah, pretty awesome. So let me go ahead and switch out my weapons, show some more. Oh wait, no, didn't need to. I just need to move all this. All right, what's next? We did these three. See that? See Horror Frost Stomp. Alright, that. Show you. Can't show you Moonveil yet. Let's show you Spice Spear. Try that afterwards. Nope. Puts me at a heavy load. Okay, let's just do these three real quick. So now it's got holy damage. It's a really good spear, and this isn't even upgraded. Punk. What's up? Alright. So this one, the Ash of War, it's just the thrust, impaling thrust. But what's really cool about this, dang it. Well, let me use it on this guy with the shield. Look at me. Oh, killed him. Usually it goes through guards, but if you do the strong attack and you hold it down, shoots out an ice projectile. It doesn't go very far. See? But it is a projectile. It builds up frost damage. So, really cool. Really cool sword. Then, Ice Spear. So like I said before, this one, the build-up right there, that does damage. So just like Spinning Weapon, if I run up to these guys... You stop. Trying to get them to get hit by the build-up, but they keep breaking me out of it. Alright, let me show you. Did you sit still? Wow. There. So, yep, the swing, if you get surrounded and you start the animation, then it should do some damage. It's not as much as Spinning Blade, but still kind of interesting to know. And let's put on some new weapons. War Spear. Yep. Thought somebody was coming up on me. Okay, let's do 3 at a time. Alright, so Frenzy Flame Thrust. Pretty cool. Takes a minute to pull off, but it leaves fire down on the ground and everything. So really cool Ash of War. But like I said, it takes a second to pull off. You get knocked out of the animation and everything, so it's like, I'll show you. Pretty cool. Alright. Repeating Thrust. I love this Ash of War. I use it when I'm fighting this boss, Melania, that we'll get to towards the end of the game. Really good Ash of War to build up status effects on. And it pairs really well with the Winged Insignia. Love it. So. Very good Ash of War. And Storm Assault is a little bit like the Frenzy Flame one that we just did. Jump up in the air and slam down. And that Gust of Wind, it also knocks back projectiles like arrows and bolts and knives. So, pretty cool. Oh no. Alright, just a few more Ash of Wars to show you guys. Would you? There. And in case you're wondering, yes, this is new armor. I was naughty during the, in between last episodes. I went down and started farming some of the Clean Rot Knights and got some of their cool stuff, so. I'll go over that in the next episode, though. And I'll tell you what I think you guys should do. Oh, cool. Let me show you this. Didn't know if I had the, yeah. So, see that right there? That's the dual wielding. Pretty awesome, huh? So I'm just gonna show you how much damage this will do. Boom. So yeah, dual wielding scythe's pretty cool, but like I said, it's a little clunky. It's not as fast as like using katanas. So yeah. So go ahead and show you Stormcaller. It's pretty much the same thing, only you don't do a jump. So you gotta run up. You see how it just did so many different and then just keep doing it. You got 2 more thrusts at the end you can do there. So it's really good to do against like a dragon. I'll probably use that against the next dragon that we fight just to see how it does. And then check out this. This is so awesome. This is going to get us through a good portion of the game. And this isn't even upgraded. That is Miquella's Ring of Light. Love that Ash of War. It's so vicious. So just walk on up. And also the wind up to it does damage. So if somebody's standing next to you, when you pull this off, you can see that hit, it does damage too. And then the light will actually come out. So pretty cool. Alright, so charge forth. This is basically a charge up one. So the longer you charge up, the more damage it'll do, the further you'll go. Like that. Giant Hunt is the exact opposite of see, sends them up in the air, so it's the exact opposite of the Lion's Claw. Does incredible stagger damage too and build up for weapon its size. Oops. Sorry, doggy. I didn't want to fight you. Alright, a few more. Let's do... Got some whips. Show you Raptor's Miss. Pretty cool. Let's see if I can two-hand this and show its weapon art. Give it a shot. Yep, okay. So, pretty cool Ash of War. You can set that off and then just start attacking. So before you go up to a group of guards, pull one out and then attack. And then if that doesn't, you know, your attack doesn't take them down, then the magic will catch up. So really cool. So this next one is a bit tricky. I've had it not work for me sometimes. So I think it might be a little bit like parrying and you have to get the framing right. But for the most part, it should be just another Ash of War that helps you dodge. So here are the whips. Got the whip. So what I just did right there is the Ash of War, so watch. See how I took no damage? Oops, messed that up. There it is. See how I jumped up in the air? That's what it's supposed to do when it works properly, like that. So I still took some damage because he was still swinging. But if it's just one attack that they do, like this, jump up in the air, take no damage, and then you can do a jump attack. So it works really, really well with whips, knives, really small weapons. Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome Ash of War. And one that I got to use, honestly, for my Rune level 1 run coming up. I'm going to have to utilize it for a couple of bosses that have some attacks that just like almost impossible to dodge. So there's that. Is that it? There's Sky Shot. Let me show you this real quick. Let's go use it on one of these guys. Oh, we can use on this guy. So go ahead and get ready, and then just loose your arrow, and it'll fall right down on him. That was pretty awesome. So let me show you how it works on a moving target, though. So it only works good on like bosses that are standing still. If you try to do it on a moving target, you're probably gonna miss. Like that. So go ahead and get away from these guys. I don't feel like fighting them. I think that's pretty much everything I can show you at this point. Yeah, that. Can't show you guys this one yet. Don't have enough faith. Oh, we've got some shield Ash of Wars actually that I forgot. I haven't showed you yet, so I'll go ahead and put that on. I'll put on Torch Attack and show you guys that. Alright, so with the jellyfish shield, increases your attack as long as the shield is red. But unfortunately, it looks like it goes away. So you see the attack thing, but if you two-hand your weapon, the effect goes away. So unfortunately, with the jellyfish shield, you have to have it in your hand in order for the effect to stay. But let me show you this torch attack. That's the torch attack. Oh, let me show you Vow of the Indomitable. This is basically another, like, sort of a invincibility frame Ash of War. So this guy's gonna attack me, I'm invincible. It's just for a second, but basically lets you block the next incoming attack. You're invincible. So, very good Ash of War. Oh, but if you don't pull it off in time, then you're just gonna get chewed up. And then Shield Bash. It's actually what it looks like. You just bash with the shield. So pretty useful, especially since this shield does blood loss build up, so it's actually worth upgrading and messing around with if you want. And that should be it. Shows you Sky Shot, shows you everything else, so I think we're done, you guys. We're all caught up for now. Read through a good portion of everything and got some lore figured out and stuff. Read through some items, showcased some Ashes of War. I think we're all caught up for now, and owie. So these things have pretty good distance. It takes them a second to get going, but then once they do, you see how fast they go. And they come out at a weird angle, and if they touch anything, so if this touches like a wall before it gets to him, then it'll just blow up and disappear. But this is what we're going to be using for like pretty much the second second portion of our our faith time, the time that we are going to be using faith. Yeah, when we get to the dexterity side, because you see the scales better with dexterity, we're going to switch over to this. Very, very, very awesome. Alright, so hopefully that helps you guys get a better idea of the weapons and the Ashes of War that we have and which you guys want to use. I'm going to, as you can see, I got a lot of runes to spend, so I'm going to get ready to take us further into the Carrion Manor. We're going to go down into a secret spot to meet an NPC and buy some stuff from him. We got a dragon to fight. And we got some bosses over here. After we take those down, we're going to head underground. We're going to go to the Ansel River Well and the Sorifra River Well. And then after we take those two underground areas down, we will start clearing out all of southern Caelid. So in the next episode, I'll meet you guys over at Inner Aeonia. We'll go over a few things, level up, buy some supplies, and then we'll continue on with our walkthrough. So just wanted to get this out of the way. I figured it's a lot easier. As you see, this was a 56-minute episode of me just reading stuff and showcasing Ashes of War. So if I tried to do that on a regular episode, then, you know, it'd be like a 3-hour long episode. So that's why I've decided to do it this way instead. Go ahead and get dressed real quick. And next episode, we'll meet you guys here at the Lake of Rot in Caelid, because I want to show you guys how much easier it is to farm these clean rot knights, and I want you guys to try and get their weapon and try and get their armor, because it's really good. And then we will go to the Round Table Hold, upgrade a few things, buy some supplies, and continue on. So, alright you guys, until the next one, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and I love you guys. Later.